Hey guys, it's Adriel from StyleAssisted and welcome back to my channel. I've had a lot of you guys request that I do my favorite highlighters, both drugstore and high-end, so I rounded up all of the product that I could possibly find and I'm going to do a review for you guys. So if you'd like to see that, stick around. Alright, so I have a lot of highlighters to talk about. In addition to doing this video, I'm going to do a post over on my blog at StyleAssisted.com where you can see all of the swatches actually in picture form. So if you want to be able to, instead of taking a screenshot, you can actually look at the picture. So I did a drugstore side and then I did a high-end side because I feel like there's a little bit of a difference between price. However, I did find an amazing product in the drugstore end. So I'm really excited and I hope that that helps you guys for finding the perfect highlighter that works for you. Now I'm going to go all the way through the list and kind of let you know what I think about it, and additionally I'm going to let you know what it looked like before it was wet, and then so just applied with a brush, and then I'm going to add some water to it and apply it with a little bit of water because that totally intensifies any shadow, highlight, blush, etc. So that's a really good tip if you guys did not already know that. One of the issues that actually seems to be a problem for everyone when it comes to highlight is finding one that matches your skin tone. Because obviously a really pale and fair highlight like this Marc Jacobs Glow Stick will work perfectly on me and my fair skin, but this Jaclyn Hill palette from Becca, way too gold and way too pink. So when I put them on, they actually look like a tan. So with my really pale skin, it doesn't work for me. But if you're someone that's really dark and you don't want a really bright, brilliant highlight all over your cheek, you would want something that's a little bit darker. So I'm going to show you guys the absolute palest to the absolute darkest so you can kind of pick which one you like the best. Now, I didn't get to a few products. I know you guys have recommended a lot, but I picked the majority of the ones that have the best reviews, that I've had the best recommendations, I've asked around. So if there's a product that you love that I left out, I am really sorry. I did try to get as many as possible. There are a few that I left out, or I just swatched when I was in the store and I just didn't even want to include it in the video. So if there's something that I missed, you guys feel free to let me know below in the comments. But I'm going to do disappointing products first. First up, the biggest disappointment is the Hourglass Strobing Powder. This is the Brilliant Strobe Light. It looks like this, and obviously very light, but it didn't give as much color payout as I really wanted. It's light, which is perfect for my skin, but it just wasn't very pigmented, and so if you want a very light sort of delicate, less strobing, more highlighting, I would instead go for the Physicians Formula, and this is the Pearl Palette, the Mineral Glow Pearls in the color Translucent Pearl. This has been a favorite of mine for, I want to say 5 years, and it has these individual little pearls. So with all Physicians Formula, there's a few different colors within the palette, but this gives the best comparable glow to this, and this is only like $12 where this is like $28, $30 something. Much better bet for your money when you're coming to the two. This was not worth the money for me. It does intensify as this one does with when you add water, but for the price, I just go with this instead. Next up is fairly disappointing because, I mean, it's very pale. This is the NYX Illuminator, actually in the color Ritualistic. Why can I not talk today? That's weird. Anyway, it's very pale. I like it, but it's just, I mean, it's okay. I would compare it actually to NARS, and this is Albatross. Let me swatch this one for you. This is the most comparable product, but the Albatross, which is on the top, is more pigmented and has a glow sheen. These two are going to be the closest possible, well, NARS Albatross, the dupe would be the NYX. They both are white with a gold undertone. So instead of buying this, I would definitely buy this instead. Alright, 3 products that were okay but not my favorites and didn't work for my skin tone, but they may work for yours, is the Essence Pure Nude Highlight. I've had a lot of beauty bloggers that love this stuff, but I mean, it's just too dark for me. This actually would work probably as a bronzer for those of you that are really fair skinned. It was too dark for me. It intensified with water, but started out too dark, so more of a bronzed highlight. Next up is more of a pink highlight, and this is the Revolution Makeup in It's Revolution London. It's a baked highlighter powder in the color Radiant Lights. So this also intensifies with water, but it starts out, it's more of a pinky color, and I would actually compare it most to the Jaclyn Smith, well actually it's fairly similar to Champagne Pop. It's not quite as pink, and Champagne Pop is a much better, more pigmented, one of my favorites. But this is still pretty, so if you want sort of a pearlized pink, I would definitely try this, and it looks amazing, like crazy intense when you add water to it. But I didn't think that it was really that amazing. However, it's like $3 maybe, so really, really inexpensive if you wanted to try something new and you wanted something more in the pinky side. Last up, as far as disappointing products, this is the e.l.f. Moonlight Pearls highlighter. This doesn't really show up at all unless you get water on it, and even then I was just like, meh. I mean, without any water, it barely showed up at all, and I just didn't think it was worth the money. And so if you're going to do one of the lower end drugstores, I would probably do one of these if you need something in the pinky highlight bronzy area. Now on to my absolute favorites. So I already talked about the Becca Jaclyn Hill collection, which sadly I believe this is completely sold out. I'm really sorry guys, but anytime you get anything that is Becca related, any of the Becca highlighters, any of them are going to be a best bet. They're incredibly creamy, they're incredibly pigmented, they go on like butter, they stay forever. I absolutely love them. However, both of these colors are not quite, well, they're basically not light enough for my skin, but they look amazing on everybody, and you guys know that I try to show products for all ranges of skin tone. Just because I hate when people don't show light colors, I try not to be only pale skin oriented on my channel. So these are fantastic, and any of the Becca highlighters are going to be a great bet if you really want a little bit more highlight and pop, and you want something that you can test out ahead of time. Alright, when it comes to splurges that are insane, the Cover FX, these are the shade, well, they're not the shade adjusting drops. What are they? What are they called? The custom enhancing drops. This is in the shade of Moonlight. Now, I think might be sold out online, but they keep restocking. Anyway, this comes in a dropper like this, like all custom FX drops do. And this is the most intense highlight I've ever seen in my life. Whoop. Probably helps if I'll just do that. Because a little bit goes a long way. And the whole point of this specifically is if you want to mix it in with your foundation. Do you see this insanity, guys? It is nuts. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. So that was the initial dropping and me just kind of pushing it around. But you can mix it in with your makeup, you can mix it in with your moisturizer, you can put it on your clavicle or the front of your shins to make your legs pop. I mean, it's amazing, and it blends out beautifully. I absolutely love it. It is not cheap, but a little bit goes a long way, and there's nothing else like it on the market at all. So if you especially have dry skin and you feel like powders make you look cakey, I would definitely look into this. Now, I've had a lot of people say that they prefer mixing in with their foundation or makeup ahead of time, or you can just dab it, but you want to be careful to not move around your existing foundation. So it's one of those things that there's a little bit of a learning curve to it, but it's stunning, and they have silver and gold, and then more of a bronze shade, and then more of a blush type shade. But I can't have a highlighting video without mentioning these because they are just, they're revolutionary when it comes to makeup, which I think is amazing. Now, on to other expensive things. I adore this Marc Jacobs glow stick. So it's like a deodorant, which I think is sort of the weirdest delivery system ever, but I understand it. This is so incredibly pigmented, and I actually was sent this to try it. So my disclaimer that I always give you guys, I did not pay for this out of my own money. Everything else I did. But if you can see it there at the top, it's very, very beautiful. It's very pale, which I love. So when it comes to creams, this is the best high-end that you can possibly get. I adore it. It looks fabulous on everyone. However, It is very, very fair, so if you have darker skin, it may show up a bit too much. I mean, if you're looking for full strobe effect, then that is a fantastic, fantastic option for you, but if you want just a little bit of glow, it might be a little overzealous for your liking. Now onto my favorite products of all of my highlighters, and these, surprisingly enough, are not expensive highlighters, so get excited. First up for me is Mary Luminizer from The Balm. I think you can still get this online. I have used this forever. I adore it. It is crazy, crazy pigmented. It is sort of a cream. Well, no, it's not a cream. What am I saying? It's not a cream. It's a powder, but it's very glowy. It's very pigmented, and it works fantastic on a wide array of skin tones. I've used it on shoots, on models. I've used it on myself in shoots. I love it. I think that it's fantastic, and it's gone a really, really long way. Like, it's lasted a really, really long time, and it's been a staple, and this is sort of what I've used to judge all other highlighters. This has been very, very impressive, very pigmented, and I love it. Now, for those of you that are incredibly fair-skinned and all of these highlighters end up showing sort of darky or orangey on your skin, this stick from ColourPop, this is the sculpting stick in the color, is it in the color highlight? I think it's in the color highlight. I will put the information of all of these below. But look at this. So it's, as with all ColourPop, it's just, you know, like one of their lippy sticks. But this sucker is light and very pigmented. So this is a best buy for my fair-skinned beauties because it doesn't get any lighter than this without going to just straight white. This is going to be your best bet. Also from ColourPop, my new absolute favorites are these two, and this is in the shade Super Shock Cheek in the color Lunch Money, and this is the Super Shock Cheek in the color Pretty Bones. Now I will swatch both of these for you. ColourPop, as always, is sort of a moussey powder. So if you look at the, I mean, it's a mousse. It's a very packed on mousse, but you apply it like a powder. You can use a brush, you can use your fingertips, whatever. It is absolutely stunning. Pretty Bones is very, very pale and a very white sort of highlight. It has more sheen than that lippy did, or I guess not the lippy. It's not a lippy. What is that? Whatever the other thing was. This thing. This is more sheen, whereas the other one is more of a matte highlight. So if you were actually wanting to do highlighting and contouring with a little bit of a glow, this would be perfect if you have fair skinned. Now, if you want a little bit of glow, you can do this, or you can do this one. This is in the color Lunch Money. It's a little bit darker, so it's an option if you want a highlight, but the bones is a little bit too light for you. I was very, very, very impressed with these when I got them in the mail. I just sort of ordered them because I'm like, well, they're inexpensive, and you get a lot because these packages are pretty big. But, I mean, the staying powder is fantastic. It takes a little bit of, learning curve's not that bad to figure out if you like it or not. But as you can see, this one's a little darker than the middle one. But I love them. You guys, they're crazy pigmented and they're so cheap. The only issue that I have with ColourPop is that you can't try them ahead of time. And I hate that. I hate that you can't try things out and see if you like it before you spend the money. And I don't know what their return policy is, but obviously it's not as good as Sephora's or Ulta's, so take that for what it's worth. However, as far as highlights go, ColourPop, highly impressed. Highly impressed. Highly impressed. Blew me out of the freaking water, but I'm not going to wear this every day, A, because it's expensive, and B, because it's intense. And then, as always, I love the Beccas. But those are my favorites, and like I said, if I didn't include some, feel free to let me know below what are your favorites. I have seen the new L'Oreal ones. I did go and try the hard candy ones, but as far as the ones that I will be keeping, the last few that I showed you, those will always be in my makeup drawer. I love them. If I have any updates, I will make a new video and link it below, but these have been my favorites for a while, and I like how they wear, and I like how they end up looking towards the end of the day, and they apply wonderfully. So these are my favorites. I hope this has helped you guys. Okay guys, I totally forgot to do one of these comparisons, and it slipped my mind, and I don't know how it slipped my mind, but I'm recording it now a day later as I was editing the footage to show you guys my, where did it go? my two comparisons. So my dupe for the Hourglass powder, this is Ethereal Light. As you can tell, I've hit pan. I use it forever. This is what I used to set my under eyes forever. And actually, this is what I use in my highlight and contour video that I know a lot of you guys found me on YouTube via that video. So the Hourglass Ethereal Light is the lightest shade you can possibly get from Hourglass. It's a very finely milled powder. I loved it. It was my holy grail. I used it forever until I found this. This is the e.l.f. Illuminating Palette. As always, I get things from e.l.f. for free, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the drill. But this I purchased before I was an e.l.f. Beauty Squad member, and I use this every single day. This is the third palette I have purchased myself and use all the time, because this light yellow shade right here is the perfect under eye setting powder. And it gives a little bit of a glow, just like the Hourglass does, but this is like $7 and this is like $30, $40, not cheap. And I could not find anything that was better than this forever until I found this. So if you were an Hourglass person, I'm not saying that you'll be able to find the exact right shade for you. I use this and this kind of to give myself a little bit of a structure on my cheekbone. Not quite contouring, but if I just want a little bit of depth and I don't want to use a bronzer basically, or any of my other powders that I've talked about before, I'll use these two in combination, or if I'm actually bronzed, then I'll use this one up here. But anyway, they are very pigmented and I love them and they're fantastic and they're incredibly inexpensive, which is basically the best thing ever. And you can use the crap out of it and you're not like, oh, I need to not use this every day because I don't want to go buy another one of these next month. You can do that with those. So, sorry to interrupt the video of my normally scheduled talking about all of the awesomeness of everything that I found for you guys, but I totally spaced on that. And this is what I use daily, every single day, the end, to set my under eyes. So, e.l.f. Illuminating Palette, or if you don't like that, this is the Hourglass Ethereal Light Ambient Lighting. This is the only one that was light enough for me to use. I have ambient lighting, I think. One second. Ha! Okay, so I have the mini ambient in dim light right here. This is very similar to... I like how I can't open things once I'm on camera. I'm making this video so much longer than it needs to be. Okay. The struggle is real. Okay. This one and this one right here. Exact same color. Let's swatch, shall we? Hold on a second. It's not really showing up good right now, but it swatched the same color on my fingers and it looks the exact same color on my hand from where I'm sitting. So, there you go. If you needed a dupe for the Hourglass Ambient Lighting in dim light, I just found you one. For like a tenth of the price. Okay, not a tenth. But anyway, oh my goodness, I'm rambling. Okay. Bye. Alright guys, that is everything. If you guys have any questions or there's a product that you think that I left out, feel free to leave it below. As always, subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I love all of you guys. Feel free to come say hey on Instagram or Twitter, which is at StyleAssisted, or you can always come say hey on Snapchat. I'm on there every single day. I sort of do that instead of vlogging because it's easier to have my iPhone with me than it is to actually carry my vlogging camera around, and that is at Adriel Page. Or if you want to see any of my general favorites or outfit ideas, because I am a style blogger, you can go to my blog at www.styleassisted.com. Alright, that's it for me guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Oh, say hi to Wicket. Hey baby. Oh, when I say I have gigantic dogs, I'm not exaggerating. She's pretty big. She's still a baby. Well, she's 2. She's my baby. Oh, oh, love the doggy. Even though she's crazy. Okay, off. Off. Thank you. Okay, out. Wicked.